Welcome to the Mug, Naples Mug annual meeting. 36 years. We're gonna hit, this is the agenda. I'm just gonna have you take a peek at it a second. This is our agenda. First of all, thanks for everyone's work in the group for 2019. Don Peacock has been treasurer, secretary Marcia, director Jeff Bohr. Jeff Bohr here yet? Ooh. Director Conrad Rivak, Eckert, and Marilyn. Marilyn could not be with us tonight, and Jerry King is the emeritus president. Our class instructors for last year were Marty Dorio, Marilyn, Jeff, and Jim Corsica. We certainly appreciate their hard work. And many, if you look at the bottom of this list, you'll see the meeting presenters that are members of the group. So a lot of our members partake in the presentation of the Wednesday meetings. Marcia,
yes.
Would you review the results of the election?
Okay, there were 305 people got ballots. We got 154 people voting. Our quorum was 30%,
Okay.
which we reached pretty quickly January 18th. John Lane, Eckert, and Cheetah Hunter were the candidates, and all were elected with one no vote and one abstention. So it was a huge majority vote.
Marcia?
Landslide, thank you.
Marcia, do we know who did the no vote? Don't tell us.
I would be curious, but no.
I heard it was Mitch.
When can we start impeachment proceedings?
You want to do it tonight? No problem. Impeachment proceedings will now take over. All right. I'm going to talk about the current board. The current board is myself as president. The treasurer is Don Peacock. Secretary Marcia Marsiglio. Class registrar and Zoom expert is Eckert Godey, right? Getty. Member advocate and the planner of the classes is Marilyn Von Surgeon. Marilyn could not be with us tonight. This has been a very busy week because of all the activities we have going on, and she just couldn't be away from home tonight. Marketing is Jeff Bohr. Member recruitment and audio is Conrad Rivak. Raise your hands so everybody knows who you are. Okay. Webmaster is John Lane. John forgot to tell his wife about this meeting tonight, and she had something else they had to go to. And we're ready for Cheetah. Cheetah Hunter, our member from the state of Michigan, from Milford. Cheetah Hunter, and she's in charge of software/technology trainer. All members of the board are active in the group. They all have an area of control over parts of the group. Okay, Cheetah, it's all yours.
Hey.
This is our new board member from Michigan.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate that very warm welcome. The first thing I want to say is, even though George is sending us all kinds of spam that we're just having problems with, George has been one of the most tireless and active presidents of a Apple user group that I have ever seen. So I would like to give a round of applause to George, please, because he is just doing a wonderful job.
Cheetah, if you could send a note to my wife, I could really appreciate it.
That is
I
a
think she's
whole
filling for the
different
board
story.
today.
Yeah, that's a whole different story, and I'm going to let you handle that, okay? Again, thank you for welcoming me. I really enjoy spending time with this group, and it's wonderful being a remote presenter and a remote member of the board. So my intention is to just be as helpful as I can in making this group as best as it can be. So again, I thank you very much for your vote of confidence.
All right, well, thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
right.
presentations.
You are quite welcome. And everyone remember, it's Sheeta. No matter how well they butcher it, it's Sheeta. Thank you.
I thought I got it right this time. It's like Chicago.
The second time you did. The first time you didn't. But I'm just throwing it out there, you know. Keep trying. You're doing good. I appreciate the effort.
Okay, John, by the way, John Lane also was newly elected, and he's the webmaster, which Marcia did go over. Okay, I think we're with you, Don. Treasurer's report, Don Peacock.
Okay, last year we took in $4,000 and $300 more than we expended. So we were to the good, 4330. And our major income was dues of 8,100. Well, you can see there, classes were a big contributor, and finally we opened the PD, so we got some interest, we had some donations, and we got a club Visa card with cash back, so we got $51 on that. And our major expense was the rental of the classroom, which was $3,000 and some odd. And in addition, honorary to the instructor was another thing. And operations, 3,700, which is on the next slide. Our main expense was web services, but because we have been volunteering and people have been coming on the second Monday of every night, the library advertises, that we are here to help people with iDevices and Macs and all that. This month, we had like 39 people signed up through the library. It's not a Mac thing. We volunteered to let them offer our services, and people have shown up, and we've gained some new members from that, and it's been very successful. As a result, the library does not charge us anymore for the here, which used to be our major expense, especially when they started charging $25 a meeting if we used the projector. So the fact that your board members and other non-board members are coming on Monday nights to this once a month, it allows the club to eliminate about $150 or $200 a month for the resources. And we spent something on equipment, Acceptivia and PayPal fees was about $900 total. That was our second largest thing. But there's no need to ask. We had a big group here. I was going to ask, how many of you have never made a payment online for anything in your life? But there must be some, because I keep getting checks in the mail instead of people paying their dues by PayPal. So if at all possible, Barney set it up, and it's very easy to pay your dues as well as class payments by PayPal, and we would appreciate that. Where are we? There's the next slide is the class income and expense. And you see our biggest class was the protection. Jeff Moore, I guess that was Jeff's class, that had the most attendance. And streaming services, which was Marty's, I think last year. Anyway, there's there are the class results. The least attended class was Nmug. And there's a classroom, actually it was 4350. And the instructor honoraria and printing, but anyway, but you can see it's a big money maker. We spent 5,500 and we took in 7,300, and it's going about the same this year. People are really appreciating the classes, especially since Marty arranged for us to get the NABOR, the real nice facility. Even though it's expensive, it's really nice. And the next slide is the budget. I don't know if it's readable. See, it doesn't. George, can you enlarge it? Anyway, planned budget for this month, we expect to get about the same amount as dues, which a little bit more. Classes, we expect to get it. I budgeted for less, but I think we're going to have more than that. And donations and minus. So we expect to take in 15,000, and we expect expenses to be classes 4,400, and all the rest of the stuff. We don't have to buy a computer this year, so our expenses, the biggest one we think will be web services. So we expect 6,100 there. Class expenses 4,400. And we intend to give $2,500 to Friends of the Library. So again, we expect to have a net income of 1,900, and I think that's conservative. And we had years where you can see 2015, we were in the hole by 7,700. We went 3 years in a row in the hole, but thanks to mainly to Marty for getting us started on the website and all that. We the last 3 out of the last 4 years we've had not a profit. We're a non-profit, but we've not lost money. So the state of our group is good. So I thank you all for continuing to pay dues and attending classes.
Yeah, we planned very conservatively, and hopefully we'll beat it, and maybe we'll be about $4,000 or $5,000 in the positive. Yes, Mitch.
How many active or how many memberships now?
We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there.
George, will this report be posted on?
Yes, yes, we'll have this posted on our website, and I'll let you know when it is and how to get to it, and everybody can when they lay down at night to go to bed, they can go through this.
Is your bonus on there, or is that an off-balance sheet?
No, my bonus is on there, and you'll see it's. By the way, Mitch really should be sitting up. Not Mitch. Marty should also be sitting up here. He's very, very much still involved in the board and very helpful. But he wanted to retire and relax, read books, and smell the flowers. Anyway, the education program, for some reason, and I'm concerned because Jeff is usually very punctual and on time and so forth. So please God, he doesn't have any major problems. We'll assume he does not. I always try to think positive. This year we are offering 10 classes versus the 9 classes we offered last year. No matter how hard we try to make it as easy as possible for our people to register for classes, some people still have difficulties, and Eckert tomorrow at the meeting will review again how to register for the classes. Attached to each one of my notices that goes out about the classes is a video that Eckert made, which shows exactly how to go through the process. If you could go out there and instruct the other 300 members, it would be much appreciated.
I followed it, it worked just
We added, we did, because we look at the results every year of the classes, and usually the class, which is at the bottom of the list as far as turnout and fees and so forth, we eliminate. We eliminated the iMovie class from last year. And we added this year a class on the watch and one on home automation. And as we get closer, and you can read the description online and it'll give you all the information about these different classes. This is the schedule for the classes. This week is Marilyn's class on the iPhone, where I think at about, I don't know, 44 signed up. And we hopefully can get to about 60 seems to be the best number we could seem to get. I think last year we did get to 70 for the protection class.
Yes.
Right. The meetings at the library, which Don mentioned, we made a deal with the library. They actually asked us to not pay fees anymore for the room, and would we once a month run a meeting for the library, and people that come to their desk and ask them for computer help with the Apple. I'm not sure if the PC people are also having a meeting. I don't think so, but we're having one once a month. And we were thrilled with the turnout this month. It was 39. We are trying to get members out of that group of people. We haven't quite figured out how to master that yet, but we're working on it. And Conrad's very involved in that process. Marty has been very involved in that, in those meetings. Marilyn also, and Jeff Bohr, starting in February, will be in charge of leading each and every one of those classes.
Yes.
All right, Eckert, would you review the facility and your end of the?
Yes, I think for the second year, our classes are being held at the Naples Conference Center on Pine Ridge. It's a facility that was created by the Board of Real Estate people here in Naples. It's an excellent facility. I think all of you who have been there have enjoyed it. We have plenty of space. We have good video. I think also pretty good audio, great parking. The space, there's enough space. And I think we're very happy with that facility. And we have, I think George has taken a few photos last year.
This year.
This year, even this year, okay. And that shows that we have this great facility.
This looks pretty bundled up. Is that a cold meeting room?
Well,
No, we can adjust the temperature to any temperature. And he usually reacts to anybody
the
that's
facility
cold.
would take up to 100 people. We have, I think the maximum is close to 70 that we've had. This year we have been in the vicinity of 60, a little over 60. Last week it was 50. I'm expecting again to reach 60 this coming week. And we've also, we can actually prevail upon the management of the center to make the rows more spacious. I think the first 2 weeks we had sort of business class seats, when I talk in aviation terms. Last week we had more economy, or maybe economy plus. I received some complaints. I had not noticed it, but we will prevail upon management to make it better at this coming.
What was that, the Zoom?
I think there's a question.
Okay.
Does it have to be a Saturday?
My hearing is so bad.
Does it have to be a Saturday?
Yes.
Yes.
Morning, I can't come.
Yeah, the reason it has to be Saturday actually is that that's the only day that the facility isn't booked solid and it's available. And for the overall membership, it appears that it seems to be an easier day for most of us. And there are some exceptions. Anybody, any religious, somebody of a religious Jewish faith, or even some Christian faith celebrate the Sabbath on Saturday. And there are other people that just can't make it. But in the future, and Eckert will discuss that, in the future, we plan on trying to solve that problem.
Just one more comment, why on Saturday, the bylaws of Nmug, which is the name of that facility, make it very difficult to have meetings for non-real estate agents, and other than on Saturday. So that's one of the reasons. But again, I think we're very happy with the attendance this year. I've had a few problems. I found that our members had problems signing up, and I will explain that again tomorrow at our regular Wednesday meeting. But I also would like to thank Ed Evans for his great work to improve our FileMaker Pro database, which makes it now relatively easy, I think, for us experts, extremely easy to sign up. And but we will overcome those problems, I'm sure.
If I may make one comment about the Saturday, we used to have our courses at noon time during the week. And we still have some members who are working. And we do not have any objections from those members about the fact that we were teaching during working hours. So Saturday is a very good solution.
We can't have them on Sunday because the facility has a church that meets every Sunday. And I'm sure none of us, I would prefer not to have it on Sunday. Yes, Marty?
We are recording these, so those people who can't come on Saturday can take advantage of recording for those sessions that are recorded.
We haven't opened that up.
No, we have for the first 3 weeks, we have been recording the classes, but this was only a test. We have to make a decision. We have to discuss the matter on our board to see how do we want to go forward with class recordings. We do our regular Wednesday meetings. We do record those. And that takes me to the next subject, Zoom. I have 4 daughters, and they live in different parts of the world. 2 live in the San Francisco area, 1 in Ocala, and 1 in Geneva, Switzerland. And they feel, because they have aging parents, that we should communicate more. And once a month, the first Sunday every month, we talk, we communicate over the, well, we don't use Skype, we don't use FaceTime, we use Zoom. And the experience that I've had personally was great. And so when we were discussing in our organization here the need to allow remote participants to listen into and view our meetings, I suggested we give Zoom a try. And we have been doing it for a while now, and I think we are improving. We have run into obstacles, we have made mistakes, and also the Zoom version that we are using right now is really meant to be a version for multiple participants who all talk and show their computer displays and show themselves. And we really prefer a Zoom version that would be geared more to webinars. Zoom does have such a version, but it's fairly expensive, and we have tried to tweak the version that we have signed up for, and I think we've made good progress. I think some of the recordings have been excellent, and some of them have problems, but we're making very good progress. What Zoom really does, and you saw an example a little while ago when Sheeta was talking to us, that we would see her and she could talk to us, and then on the other hand, George shares his keynote presentation with us by displaying his laptop to the screen, and you can all watch it. We are recording it, and today we only have 1 remote participant, Sheeta Hunter. She can watch the entire thing, and normally we want our remote participants to be silent and don't even show the video. I have unmuted She does, because she's a member, she should have the opportunity to voice her opinion like all of you who are present here physically. And so you can see an example of how Zoom works. And we're expecting that we will even do better in the future.
Eckert, are you planning to use Zoom for the Wednesday meetings or the Saturday classes or both?
Well, for the Wednesday meetings, we use Zoom. We have been using Zoom now for quite a while. We have run 3 tests for our Saturday classes. This coming weekend, when Madeline is the instructor, we're not doing it. And we want to also think about it, how we don't have, and I think we have 3 tests with interesting test results. And I think we have to do some internal work, how we improve our own performance.
The hope is once we figure, get all the kinks out, which will take some time, we intend to, the goal is to be able to broadcast our classes, and there would be a fee to see that broadcast. You know, because of the cost of the facility and everything else, we find we need to charge for those classes. But we're making some progress, and there are 1,000 reasons why we're having some difficulties, and we'll overcome them. Yes.
Is it because of space that we don't do the Saturday class at this point?
We cannot charge for anything we do at the library. It's a public space. We could not do it as a money-making thing.
Also, we don't, the facility, it would be too difficult to get the table set up and so forth. We'd have to basically do it ourselves or hire somebody. And that facility, the tables are set up, the chairs are there, all the equipment is available should we need it. We do bring in our own projector, but it's a much better situation. Audio. We're really trying to concentrate. I'm trying to figure out the whole audio issue, which is very complex. And Conrad has been our board member that's been working on that. You want to make a few comments, Conrad?
Yeah, we're hoping to have audio-visual recordings of so good quality that 100 years from now, somebody can say, hey, I want to look up legendary Naples mug, and there it will be. And it's not so easy, because you can't just put a microphone in a room and expect that you're going to achieve everything, because we get 4 sources mostly, and we have to balance those 4 audio sources. We have the host, we have the presenter, we have the remote presenter sometimes, and we have the audience. I guess that's 5, but we have multiple inputs, and we have to balance each of them, and they have to be coherent, and it's not easy. You'll see a rock band or Artist Naples will have huge mixers and consoles for that purpose, and we don't have the facilities, but we're working on it. And we're hoping to merge everything into one beautiful audio presentation. We might have to get outside help to do this, because it's more of a problem than you would think. But I know we're going to get it solved here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Jeff.
Okay, well, what we've been doing is some activity to help the board and the members get out the word of the group, because this is a big word of mouth project. And it's not something people might Google for. If they Google it, they'll find it, because we have presences on Facebook and Twitter. And what we've done now is made up some printed materials, and we can get these to you, anybody that's interested. So the first thing is a postcard. And it tells about what we do. We're a great local resource for any user of Apple devices. It tells about the meetings. We have business cards made up that are, fit in your pocket that you can hand out, put on a bulletin board in your community center to kind of get people aware of it, because the more memberships we have, the more activity we have, and it'll prolong us. And then we also have a postcard that's front and back that we use at the library meetings. So on the Monday night library meetings that are open to the public, where we sometimes will have a topic or just a general question and answer, there's more of a little detailed meeting about that talks about the cost of membership and people in the group that can help with different issues. So that's all on this card, and any of these cards you can have if you ask any of us, so we can get these cards to you. They're on the table in the back. They were on the table. But they were on the table. They're right here. So.
Yeah, we usually try to make sure that I put them on the table every week. And if they're not there, remind me, because I have them. All right,
And
Jeff.
We have a Twitter page. If you search for Naples Mug on Twitter, we only have 7 followers on Twitter right now. So if anybody has a Twitter account, add us to your feed. Search for Naples Mug and follow, because we can use the exposure there. And then we also have a Facebook page, which so our Twitter account only has 7 likes. Our Facebook page has 113 followers. So that's also at Naples Mug. And if you're a member of either Twitter or Facebook, if you go on and just join those pages, it gives us a little more clout when people search on Twitter and Facebook. Because social media is all about rankings. And the more people that like you, the better results you get and the more exposure you get.
Basically, we've updated and I think gotten the things like the calendar to work better so that people can subscribe to it and put it in your Apple calendar, iCal calendar. We've also got links on the site now for updating your own information, your membership information, your phone numbers, and your email addresses. And for checking your class registration, that's all functional. The thing we don't have working very well yet is using the sign-in username and password. I guess because we're a computer club, that's beyond the scope of most of our abilities. So we're discussing with the board whether we should get rid of that or not. And then we have the links to class registration, which Ed has been instrumental in, and we've now got the class notes functional as well. So I think things have moved along there.
Yeah, Marty's still very involved in that whole process. We're trying to get John and Jay to take over it. Okay, Mitch.
And has there been any consideration for doing some of those monkey surveys on meetings, particularly outside speakers? Or if we have feedback on a meeting that we don't particularly care for, do we just send it to you? Are we? I've walked out of meetings before and I said, I talked, I said, well, that was really great. And I talked to other people.
What I would do,
they said, you know what, I didn't think that was any good at all.
What you should do, and I would encourage everybody to do it, is put it on the discussion group. Because if there's other people that would agree with you, that would trigger other people to.
I don't think everybody calls the discussion group. I don't anymore. I mean, there's so much. The problem with the discussion group is that there's 30 pieces of email a day, and it goes off into space.
Well, we're putting some time into telling you how to organize your mailboxes, so that doesn't have to be the case.
No, I know. Mine goes in a folder, and I never look at it.
Right. But that would be the case with any email. Or a survey or anything else. So, right now we still do have the discussion group, and the discussion group does get activity. There was some activity this week. What was that activity about? I think Jeff might have started it. There was some, every once in a while something gets on the discussion group and there's 4 or 5 or 6 people that jump right in and comment on it. And so somebody is looking at it. And I think what we have to do is encourage, we do have something that we can utilize for that type of thing. I think what you're saying. But again, I don't know how to solve that problem. I really don't know how to solve the problem with the discussion group. Some people utilize the hell out of it. Our ophthalmologist, what's his name? Dick Shapiro uses it. Vicky answers tons and tons of things on there. Marty does. Jeff, I get notes from, I do put tons of information on there that I dig out. I get every magazine, everything on the internet from, every possible Mac source. And I go through them diligently and try to post what I think is important. Jerry used to do it for many, many, many years. And I do get notes periodically from people we really appreciate it. And it was funny this year, I think we took off 1 or 2 people that asked to be removed from the discussion group, and they asked to be put back on. So, it's like one of these situations that we haven't figured out yet. So we could send out a monkey, whatever, survey monkey again, and do some sort of an evaluation of our Wednesday meetings. Now, and that boils down to another issue. That is one of the most difficult jobs to do in the world, is to find and keep. We have, and that's my next slide, we have 42 Wednesday meetings a year. This year we had a few less because of the way the holidays fell. So the first 2 meetings of the month are usually yourself, Mitch, and Marilyn is taking the first week. And then the third, fourth, and in some months, the 5th week, I try to find what I feel are interesting. So I guess for right now, pour that information to me. If you don't like a meeting, I'm the guy that planned it. Probably I'm the guy that should hear about it. And then I'll feel out some of the other members and see if they agree or don't agree. But I usually can gauge some of them by how many show up. Yes, Marty.
Well, I'm just gonna say that the other place that you can always put a comment is on any page on the website.
Right.
And the calendar is on the website, and the seminars are on the meetings are on the website. You can go there and make a comment down at the bottom, and then you see it and send it to the board, and that's appropriate. And that way you're not generating 330 emails to all these other people.
Okay.
If you read the discussions, you would have found out that the eye hospital has closed.
Oh yeah, that was interesting. That generated at least 10 to 12 responses. Eye hospital, and everybody said it was closed. So I don't understand. I mean, the first response was it's closed. Second response was it's closed. So I guess nobody really is reading those, because there were 9 or 10 responses telling us that eye hospital was closed.
I have another comment on the previous discussion, the inundation of information. I believe we call this Yahoo discussion group. And truly it is no longer a discussion. It has become a one-directional flow of information. I believe there is probably an interest, not among all members, but there may be a number of members who would like to really seek interaction, a discussion. They suggest a subject to be discussed and like to get opinions, maybe suggestions, remedies, how to fix a problem. And that is what truly the Yahoo discussion group, I think, originally intended to be. Now we have George and Jeff, who send out every day up to 10 pieces of information. And I can understand why many of our members feel that is too much. So my suggestion is, and I do that personally, I have multiple mailboxes, And I think everyone who is a little, has become knowledgeable how to manage computers and iPhones, they know it's very little effort to create several mailboxes. And I think if we would follow that, then I personally have one mailbox where all these messages from George and Jeff come in, and I glance at them before I discard them. I actually keep them, but some of them I find very interesting. Sometimes I take an issue. Like last week or 2 weeks ago, there was a claim that Apple Watch could not be used in the shower, and you should not swim with it, and you should not sleep with it. That's absolutely wrong. And so I used Yahoo as a discussion to give my opinion. The other mailbox should be only for inter-membership interaction discussion. And George and Jeff should stay out of that particular mailbox and should give us room to discuss problems, honestly, unless they make a contribution to the problem. But I think that if we would follow that route, I think all of us would really have more peace, and we would have a better organization within our own mail apps.
In other words, you're suggesting that we just use the discussion group for discussion
Yes.
and have it. Okay, so I mean, because I spend a lot of time, and so does Jeff, and some of us come back and forth in spurts, researching what we think are important emails that the group should get and send them out. If I don't have to do that, or if nobody wants it, then I'm sort of thrilled to give up that job. So I think that'll be, maybe we will use SurveyMonkey to find out if the majority of the members of the group do not want that information. Because
George?
I'm very interested.
George.
Keep it. I just like to separate it in two different mailboxes.
well, then we have to have another
Can you-
discussion group.
Can you hear me?
Yes, hi, Chief.
Hi. My suggestion is, can you limit the amount of emails that you and Jeff send out? How about that happy medium? So instead of both of you sending out 10 to 20 a day, maybe you get together and you only send out 4 or 5.
That's where.
Okay, well, that's another good alternative. I would prefer that alternative to trying to develop another mailbox. But
Right, and it gives you and Jeff a little more free time. And and I want to throw in a solution that I did, because you guys were just bombarding me with all of those emails. It's akin to spam, George. But and there was still too much coming into my Apple Mail. So on my iPhone, I actually downloaded the Yahoo Mail app, and I have all of that mail going there. So it's not coming to my mail on my laptop. It's just going to my mobile device, and I'm able to actually sort and make folders. And I know it's another layer of having something else to do, but having all of those emails go there instead of going into the mail app that I work from or use every day, then I can go into the Yahoo email app and then decide which ones I want to look at or which ones I want to respond to. So that's just something that I do. It adds another layer to that equation. But if you guys would just send out less, I think that would be a happy medium.
Bill?
Jerry.
George. I'm George.
50% of those emails do not pertain to what I have. And I've got an iPhone 8, and a lot of it is later phones. So to me, it's needless. I don't want to look at it. If I want to find something specific, I'll go to Google and find it. Or if we want to discuss it. So I'm a little empathetic to what they're saying.
Well, what I could do is I can start tweeting them to the Naples Mug website. So if you want to follow the Twitter account, you get all the information I would have sent out in an email. So that'll be a incentive to follow Twitter. If you want the news that's not discussion that we might find relevant, instead of sending it to the group, I'll start tweeting it. And then if you follow the Naples Mug Twitter account, you'll be able to get that content.
But right now we have 7 people following our Twitter
Well, if
But
you,
that doesn't,
check the Twitter
if you,
account.
I'd
if
like
you're,
to have a minority opinion. When I get
if you're,
stuff from either of you, I look at the title, and if it isn't relevant, I trash it. It's not that big a deal. I mean, I probably trash half, maybe even 3/4 of what you send, but the other quarter are worth looking at. So I want you to stop sending it. I, for one, would like to encourage you to keep sending it, and I'll trash the ones that are irrelevant to me.
Yeah, see, that's, I mean, to be honest with you, that's one of the things that I really don't understand. The problem people have with just pressing the delete button, because I do the same thing. I receive 500 emails a day, and they're not from, they certainly are not all from the group, but from, a lot of activities that I'm involved in, and organizations and things that I'm of interest in. And, 480 of those I probably delete every day of the week. And I don't find that cumbersome. Now, it appears that I'm in the minority. And I think we'll bring it up at one of our board meetings and try to hash it out. Are we going to come up with a solution? Yes. Is it going to make everybody happy? Probably not. I wish I could, it's like, I mean, Jerry, have you had this issue before over the years?
There is no two wheel.
Anyway.
She had another comment.
Noreen has a question.
I don't do Facebook or Twitter, social media. I just pulled up the website, and there's a thing there for the newsletter. And it sounds like some of the information, maybe that not having read this, and I'm not part of the discussion group. So I'm talking off the top of my head. But the stuff that maybe you and Jeff are pointing out because it says the newsletter is announcements and important information. Like I've used, because Jeff referred me to the eye hospital, and I was very pleased with it. I had no idea. I mean, you don't go every day to the eye hospital. It's not like hospitals. But I didn't know that. I never paid attention to driving by it. That they had.
So you didn't get any of our emails that the eye hospital was closed?
So,
I'm going to take my
what
life.
would be in the newsletter? I haven't signed up for it, but underneath it says new members are automatically signed up. So that's the notices that we're getting, right? Like the class, what the class means, the Wednesday class is going to be like. That's the newsletter.
Yes.
Okay.
Is she referring to MailChimp?
Yeah.
No, but the group also finds, they throw that in the discussion group. As far as that they're concerned, it's all coming at them, and it's driving them crazy.
I don't have a problem with the newsletter.
Okay. Now, in other words, the newsletter is much more difficult to trigger than the Yahoo discussion group from our point of view. In other words, I put a lot of time and effort into every notice that I send out of the meetings. And as much as I hate the fact, and some of our members hate the fact that I send out all these notices, the only way I can seem to get 60, 70 people to attend the class is to bombard every day with a notice of the class. And I don't have the guts to try not to do it because yeah. So anyway, we'll discuss it, and hopefully one day we come up with a solution.
I mean, it seems to me that if people don't want to hear your messages, then let them get off of the feed. I mean, and just that simple. If the messages are too much, then get off the feed. But those of us who like your messages can easily get out.
Yeah, you don't have to be on the discussion group. Absolutely don't. There's a way to, you can unsubscribe to that.
I do something similar to Sheena. I have a folder set up through my mail, and it all goes right into that folder automatically. it comes into my regular mail, it goes in a folder, and I just don't look at it very often, and I'll go, like I went today, and there were 300 that I hadn't looked at, and I looked at the first 10, and I just deleted them all. But I'm going to our website, and I'm looking for the link to Facebook and Twitter, and I see nothing.
There are none.
Can you get that on there for us, please? If you want more followers, that ought to be displayed on every page.
We could probably put it in the footer or something.
Huh?
We could probably put it in the footer, I would think.
Yeah.
We can add it here.
Like there's make a donation, and underneath there it could be follow us on Twitter, follow us on Facebook. Yeah.
Thanks for the
And
idea.
what is the Twitter thing? I searched for Nmugs, I got nothing.
At Naples Mug, or at, both Twitter and Facebook, it's at Naples Mug.
Okay.
Naples
Spell that.
Spelled out.
Okay.
Not Nmug, but Naples Mug.
Naples Mug. Nmug might be anything, I don't know, but somebody else got that.
Cheetah, did you have Cheetah, did you have anything else to say?
No, we'll figure it out.
Okay.
It's not that I don't.
Okay.
It's not that I don't like someone was mentioning. It's not that we don't want to read them. It's just that we have different reasons for why we feel inundated with email. So for some, it is as simple as just reading them and pressing delete. But for someone like me who works a lot during the day, I can't keep up with it. It's just, as soon as I look in my email box, there's like 150 of them, and I can't keep up. So we have different reasons, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure out something. And as you said, not everyone will agree, but we have to find our own happy medium in what we do.
There are now 8 people following us on Twitter.
Oh, thank you.
All right, let's move on, please.
Thanks.
I'm reviewing how active this group is. We have 42 meetings a year. If you compare us to almost any other MAC group in the U.S. and even the group that Cheetah belonged to in Detroit, they have one meeting a month, basically. The 90% of all MAC user groups across the country have one meeting a month. We have 42 meetings a year. And we have 42 meetings a year because we think that's how, that's what our members would like. That's the reason we believe we have, between 380 and 500 members. And at this point, we'll continue to do that. If we ever get thrown out of the library and lose this relationship, that would become a major decision maker, because if we would have to pay a couple hundred bucks a week or a month for a meeting room, then it might limit us. But at this point, we don't have that issue.
George, do you have a philosophy for, you were saying about Maryland takes certain, weeks and so forth, for what the topics are among the 42 meetings,
Yeah, the first week of every single month is a general Q&A
right?
and it's become all the devices. And the second week of the month is iOS, iPhone, iPad, and watch. The third and fourth, I try to find speakers to cover, different issues, and I'll go through that in a couple of minutes. We have 12 monthly library meetings, which we talked about earlier. Jeff is going to be running those meetings starting in February. Did you want to say anything about that? Or I think you covered it.
No, I think, it's just, we'll come up with, I think, a topic now.
Right.
And then, I think last time, 40 or 50 showed up, you said, or 30, 38? Yeah, so. And that's announced on the library newsletters and materials, so that's good exposure as well.
Yeah, we are now, that's another way of getting members. I try to ask everybody that walks in here for the first time how they found out about us. And there's been a number of people that have found out about us through the library newsletters. We are now posted in there. Our meetings are now posted. Before this year, that was not the case. So the library, we have basically built this partnership with the library. We have 6+ monthly board meetings. Let me talk a second about the Wednesday meetings. Here is the agenda, basically, for both inside and outside speakers. These do not include the first and second week of every month. Now, in order to get these speakers and these people arranged, it might require as many as 8 to 10 emails. And now it's even becoming a little bit more complex because we're trying to get them involved with Zoom. We're trying to Zoom each and every one of these meetings so that if members cannot be here, they can watch it from home. And we also believe in the future that there's a way for us to build a membership in the outside world if we make all this information available. But you can see Gary Rosenberg, we just had. John Yeses is a brand new member. This guy Wally is going to talk about iMovie on the 12th of February. He's I found him from a group that has an annual meeting outside of Chicago every year, and I watch their videos. And we're going to have Christian Boyce back, who is a guy with a lot of knowledge about Mac and iPhone tips and tricks. Wayne Mertz, who is our own member, is going to have a meeting on genealogy, hearing aids, and how they work through your phone. And he's also going to run another meeting on somewhere down here at the end of the, I think in April or May. Frank Burma, who's the photography wizard of Naples, is going to be with us on the 25th. I saw a presentation by this woman, Kirsten Sia, that I saw through a contact I have with a fellow by the name of Chuck Joyner, and he interviews all of these people who have this Apple technology background, and she made a presentation on fitness on your Apple Watch and phone, and I thought that would be of interest to the group. Carrie Kursky will be back with us on the 22nd of April. She's going to talk about identity theft, and then the next week, Dennis will be with us, and he's going to talk about Apple device security. Then I have somebody coming in on an app that I think could be of interest to many of our members called iAmazing. Marty has it, I have it. Cheetah will be back again doing her keynote #2. We had a presentation, she made a presentation months ago on keynote 1. I'm sorry I didn't label that correctly yet. But what is that going to be called again?
Keynote, what you need to know, because what we want to show is the amazing things that Keynote can do and how we can pull these graphics that we use and show what the Mac can do. So one of my concerns or one of my things is that I do layout and design, and I would like to help bring our presentations and our graphics into the 20th century so that they look amazing and that people see that and say, hey, I want to see what this group is about, or maybe I want to join this group. So I'd like to definitely help with that, and the start is going to be with Keynote 2, what you need to know.
Okay, thank you. We're also going to have a meeting. Kenneth from the library is going to come back and talk about all the other avenues other than just walking into the library that you have an opportunity to utilize this place over the internet from your home and so forth. And he'll be back the end of June. And also Jim Corsica, who is our Apple TV expert. This meeting will not just be on the Apple TV. He's putting together some ideas, and I'll let you know more about that meeting as we get closer to it. If anybody has any ideas of things that they would like us to cover at a meeting, please let me know, and I'll put it on my list and try to see if I can find somebody, or if anybody here has any contact with anybody out in the outside world that is an expert on something that you think might be appropriate for the group, please let me know. And any members, we have some extremely talented people in this group. I mean, they're not all here tonight. Most of them are here, but they really can feed a lot into the group. And some of our best meetings have been from our own members. Okay. This slide is not necessarily up to date. Dan from, who was Noteboom, who is now Dan's Tutorial. By the way, Dan will be here on March 4th. So in about a month, Dan will be in Naples, and he is going to do a presentation along with Marilyn, or separate from Marilyn. I have to talk to Marilyn and work this out, but he will be in town. He's making a trip with his wife to Florida, and I think he'll be coming down to Naples that particular day by himself, but he will be with us. But anyway, through working with Dan over the years, he has a business, and it's called Dan's Tutorials, and he's got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of tutorials on anything and everything for the Apple, the iPhone, the computer, the iPhone, the iPad, the Apple TV, anything you want to know that's Apple, he's got it covered. And for $14.99 a year, you can join, get a membership. It'll be $14.99 a year, renewable forever. And it's a great opportunity to to learn a whole lot of stuff. I think Mitch has taken advantage of it. I know Bill has. I have, Marty, Jerry, but I mean, I can't encourage you enough. I mean, what we're trying to do in this group, and primarily the reason to belong to this group, is we are currently flooding you with all the information that you can ever want to have to learn how to operate your devices and your software and so forth. And it's your choice, to not take advantage of it or take advantage of it. But this group is a source of all of this information. And Dan, this thing would run you maybe $48 a year if you did it on the outside. But we made it, he's become a friend of the group. He comes and tries to visit us on a yearly basis, and he's given us this great promotion. And a lot of our members have taken advantage of it. A lot of our members are now taking in, we've gotten a lot of member participation in the last few years. Do you have a comment?
To get that special deal, do we have to go through anything, or just?
Yeah, you go to the website, and don't try to do it now. It'll be fixed within the next 3 or 4 days.
Okay.
And just take the link for Dan's Tutorial.
Off the Nmug site.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a whole lot of stuff that you can find out on our website. And actually, to make life easier for everyone, if every one of our people would utilize our website, we probably could eliminate a lot of email, because all the information is on the website. All the information, or most of it. And it could be on the website if we believed that people were going to the website to get it. But I'm concerned that relying on the group to go to the website to see when the meeting's scheduled, to go to the website and read all the information about the classes, that is not necessarily something that's getting accomplished. And if anybody's got an idea on how we can force that to happen, it could be one of the ways to eliminate a lots of mail. I think Marty's dream, when he busted his butt to build this website, was what it was going to accomplish.
George?
Anyway,
George? George?
yes.
Has anyone brought up the idea of possibly making an iCal calendar that members can subscribe to, so that the calendar will automatically be on their Apple device and then update as you update the calendar?
Marty, can you answer that? And can she hear you?
We have a Google account, a Google calendar that does that.
We need an iCal calendar because not all of us, as you know, want to be involved with Google. So being on an Apple device, iCal, it just seems like it would work as well.
All right, we'll take that up for consideration at one of our board meetings. And that's a good comment. Thank you. But anyway, back to the membership. We have a lot of participating members. I've listed them here. I thank all of you very, very much. All of these people have been instrumental this year in helping us run this club. And we really appreciate it, and we can't do it without you. The future of this club, the future of this group depends upon volunteers from the membership. I'm not going to live forever. None of the board members are going to live forever. We need to be replaced, and we have to be replaced by members of the group that are interested. Now, I don't know what happened to the Detroit group, but I would imagine that was pretty much the dominant reason they don't exist today, is because everybody got sort of worn out.
Yeah.
That pretty much the case?
Yes.
And nobody was coming.
Everybody wanted a life.
Right.
Yeah.
Nobody was
They wanted their life back.
Right. Nobody was volunteering. But in the last year or so, we've gotten a lot of people that have come forward. And we need people from this membership to want these jobs, because none of us are going to last forever. We all have other activities that we do in life. We have marriages. Jeff is a young family guy running a business, and we need help. And so I would encourage, we're sort of talking to an empty room right now, and most of the people in this room are participating today in the club. Okay. We need these are some areas that we really need some help in. We need somebody to jump in and figure out how we can use social media, or whether we should or should not use social media. We need to make that decision. It seems to be a major factor in the world out there. Jeff, is making some effort. He doesn't have all the time in the world. He teaches our classes. He runs many of our meetings. He's going to take over the library meeting. We need a social, and by the way, his wife was going to do that job. But then, they had 2 kids, and
life happens.
And anyway, we need if we're going to pursue social media, we need help. Zoom. We need some assistance in that area. We're not experts. I bet you in this group that we have experts that utilize Zoom. Within our total membership, I bet you we have an expert. That's how we found Ed. 2 years ago, I said, we need somebody here for, what's the? FileMaker Pro. We knew we had to utilize FileMaker Pro. Jerry was trying to run this thing by himself. He was, trying to send out all the emails, manage this club, run FileMaker Pro, and he couldn't do it anymore. So we asked the membership, is there anybody out there, thank the Lord, that Ed volunteered? And,
A little muscle problem, man.
what?
What is muscle problem?
Yeah.
A little tick in the-
Yeah, we keep track of anybody that asks a question. I eyeball them and make sure they don't get out of the room. But also we need somebody that if we have an expert, an audio-visual expert. I bet you we have people in this group that did audio-visual for a living. And we need whoever that is to step forward and help us. And I need an assistant. I need an assistant. I cannot continue to do everything that I do and be a functional, normal, good husband, decent human being. So I need an assistant. And so I'm asking the group, you know, and this, we'll publish this on the internet and so forth, so everybody will see it. We'll have a recording of the meeting, and we need help. And if we,
What kind of assistance do you need?
I'll let you know the answer to that. I mean, I need somebody to do some of the work that I'm currently doing. I can't keep up with all of it. I mean, I'm making a list right now of every category and thing that I do, and I'll try to get that out so that you can see that. Membership information. For 2019, bottom line is that we lost 25 members. We gained members, we lost members. We lost 25 members. We had 239 individual members, 64 household members, or a total of 367. And we lost, in the previous year, we had somewhere around, 390 something. So we lost 25 bodies last year. We gained, that was the net loss. So we gained 50 and we lost 75. So that's how we netted out to 25 in the losing department. So we need, and the best way to get members is word of mouth, us. Communicate with your neighbors, friends, and talk about this group. Other household members, friends, neighbors, relatives. All of us belong to other groups. Talk about us. Take these postcards with you, hand them out. Post them in your local Panera. I keep Panera, they keep ripping them off the board and I keep putting them back on. They want to basically have only their own things on there. It says community bulletin board, but they only want to advertise everything that goes on within their own business. Condo and Publix, I think, has a board in every single store. Whole Foods, your neighborhood bars and restaurants. There's a lot of places out there that have bulletin boards for the neighborhood. Did you have a question, Weinstein?
Does the Apple Store allow any publicity there?
No. No.
Doesn't make sense.
No. It's frustrating. I can go on for hours about it. I've tried. If you want to know a member of the board who is in there, she's gotten her ass thrown out of there, Marcia.
Yes. Very nicely, after one of the classes, I was talking to somebody and I gave him a card. And this guy came up to me and started telling me I can't really do that. I said, but we're a nonprofit group because I know Apple rules. So now I go outside, I take the people outside after the class and give it to them. So,
And they're going to call the police on her one of these days. What?
The Apple. Yeah.
Yeah. We used to have them come to our meetings. Okay, we had them come to our meetings. 10 years ago they came when they first opened the stores. They went away for 8 years because they had an insurance issue that none of their people could be insured off-site. Then we had, then they came back last year and the year before. And now they can't do it again for the same insurance reason. So, I mean, I've done everything in my power. Marcia's on their butt all the time. She's trying to pass out our postcards inside the store. I even got in touch with Waterside once, and I wanted to put up, when they were closed, I wanted to put up a sign that you come visit the Naples Mug Group while the store's closed to get help. No, it's not going to work. I mean, if anybody here can figure it out, or if anybody has a connection, please try, please help us out. I've done everything I think I know how to do to, and Marcia, and she's, you know, she could be a real nudge on this thing. And
I mean, I'm in business and I get certified by Apple every year. But there's a couple of guys at the store that have my cards that will refer me, but it's on the down low. They can't do it officially. And if you go to the store and say, can anybody help me home? They tell you to go to the website. If you go to Apple's website, you can find me. But the store can't. They used, when they first opened, there was the manager there would hand out my business cards. And then they stopped doing that probably 10 years ago, 8, 9 years ago. But there are a couple of people there that will refer me, but it's all hush hush. They can't do it officially. You can go to Apple's website to find me.
now,
So it's weird.
the only,
Something like Best Buy.
wait, possibly.
I think, does Apple still have the user group page?
What?
Does Apple still have the user group page that we're listed on, or? Has that
Yes.
been removed?
Yes.
It's still there?
I think it's Apple. I'm not even, is it Apple?
No.
It's
Not
a,
anymore, no.
no, but there is a place that you can find every user group in the country if you search zip code. And I think, I don't know, there is some group that has it.
It is a group of volunteers who created it and maintained it. It is not an official Apple.
Oh, so it's online, but it's not Apple.
Right. Apple has no desire or no interest in, for whatever the reason is, in supporting these user groups. And
I don't know, but I think they're afraid of having, if they recommended Nmug and somebody came here and they had a bad point, they wouldn't just sue us and sue Apple. So I think that's all lawyers.
That is the issue.
right.
That's all lawyers.
Anyway, yeah, that has been an extremely frustrating experience. Now, Marcia does have something that she's working on right now that we have tried in the past.
It will be a surprise.
It'll be a surprise, so we don't want to discuss it yet. But we are continually trying to build a relationship with the Apple Store. I mean, we're not giving up on it, but it might have to be on their turf. And if we don't, and we should take advantage of that. I mean, there are a lot of things going on in the Apple Store that our members should take advantage of. I mean, Mitch takes advantage of a lot of it. I mean, don't you go over there for a lot of those?
I was when I first stepped out of it. I haven't lately, but yeah, and those courses are pretty good. They're very basic, but I would pick up something.
I just want to say, I went last week for the iPhone recording. I was the only person in the class. I couldn't believe it. You know, everybody's here now. That was it. I was in.
Well, you know, that's
one-on-one.
right. Well, so you probably got some pretty good information.
Yeah.
Because the class still goes on if even one person shows
So
up.
don't hesitate to sign up. Don't think they're going to be full because they're usually not.
But when we went the other day, they did have, I would say, at least 20 people in the class.
In the middle, they can have 50 in the middle part. When they have it at the table, they can't have that many, but they'll do more in the middle, I think, than they will at the table.
Yeah, and you talk about, you would think that the Apple Store would have figured out how people could communicate and how the customer could hear them.
Well, I
They
have
haven't.
asked, it's all soundproof. I have asked many times and they've told me all about it. It is soundproof.
But they needed
It's
a
so noisy, yeah.
conference room or something.
Okie dokie. Any other questions? We're done.
Thank you, George, for all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.